You know that one friend you can't help but admire? The one who walks into a room and you think, wow, they're just cool. What? Mine was definitely Shayera Hol, aka Hawkgirl, from the DC animated universe. Hear me out. Let's rewind to the early 2000s. Warner Brothers was expanding its DC animated universe, learning from the successes and sometimes failures of shows like Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, Mask of the Phantasm. At the time, the landscape for female superheroes in animation was limited. Sure, we had Batgirl and Supergirl, but they were usually portrayed as teenage sidekicks. So when Justice League introduced Wonder Woman and Hawkgirl, it was a game changer. At first I gravitated towards Wonder Woman. She was a literal princess, incredibly strong and had this regal yet compassionate aura. Meanwhile, Hawkgirl, she felt rough around the edges, too aggressive, too tomboyish. But rewatching the series as an adult, I realized labeling her as a tomboy was such a one-dimensional way to view her character. Hawkgirl was originally created by writer Gardner Fox and artist Dennis Neville, but in the DCAU, she's introduced in Justice League Episode 1 as an already established superhero. Someone who clearly has a history with Green Lantern John Stewart, and yes, that song. Flirtatious tension between them is undeniable.
Phew! Is it just me, or is there something going on between those two?
But what really sets her apart is her carefully crafted character arc. As the series unfolds, we learn she's not just a superhero.
You mean she's a spy? Cool.
Oh, and betrothed to Thanagarian Commander Thro Talik, which only made her eventual romance with Green Lantern even spicier. As viewers reflecting on our relationships with people, we're drawn to certain characters not just because they're cool, but because they embody traits we admire. So why does Hawkgirl stand out? She's a warrior but not heartless. Hawkgirl grew up in a military society constantly engaged in conflicts, meaning emotions probably took a backseat to discipline, strategy, and combat skills. At first glance, that's exactly how she comes across in Justice League. She's aggressive. She has no problem using deadly force, even when the rest of the league holds back. She rarely expresses vulnerability, especially in Season 1 of Justice League. But as the series progresses, we see cracks in that armor. She deeply cares about her teammates, even if she won't always say it outright. Her bond with Green Lantern slowly reveals her softer, more affectionate side, and in Starcross, she's visibly
torn between my feelings and my duty.
Not just because of the consequences, but because these people have become her family. Hawkgirl's strength isn't just physical, it's in her ability to feel deeply, despite being raised to suppress it, and that makes her incredibly compelling. She's fiercely independent. Hawkgirl doesn't need anyone's approval. She never tries to fit into a mold of what a female hero should be. She has no interest in being a role model or a symbol. She is who she is. And honestly, that confidence is magnetic. She makes tough calls even when they make her unpopular, and her betrayal in Starcross is a perfect example. She could have played the long game, pretending to be loyal to both sides before picking the winning side. Instead, she was upfront about her choices, accepting the consequences, even if it meant losing everything from her two lovers to the trust of both Thanagar and Earth. When she chooses to lead the Justice League at the end of Starcross, it's not because she's running away. It's because she refuses to be somewhere she's not wanted. She does what she believes is right, even when it costs her. That kind of self-assurance? Peak girl crush material. Number 3, she has one of the best slow burn romances in DCAU. At first, John and Shayera's chemistry is all subtle glances and playful teasing, but over time, you realize their bond is real, especially that moment in Wildcards. They respect each other's strengths as equals. Their romance builds naturally rather than feeling rushed or forced. Even when they're apart, they're still undeniably in love. She doesn't need romance to define her, but her relationship with John adds to her depth as a character. At the same time, while her romance with John Stewart is iconic, her platonic relationship with Wally West is equally important. Throughout Justice League, Flash is constantly annoying her, she constantly scolds him back, but at the end of the day, she would destroy anyone who would try to hurt him. Their dynamic adds humor and heart to the series. It's a rare example of a male-female relationship in animation that isn't forced into romance, and it makes their interactions feel genuine and almost relatable. Number 5, she embodies strength, redemption, and resilience. Hawkgirl goes through one of the biggest character arcs in the DCAU. She starts as a valued member of the Justice League, yet seemingly closed off and emotionally distant. She loses everything, her team, her home, and even the true love of her life, and yet she doesn't break, or sort of. She builds herself back up by spending time reflecting on her past. She earns back her trust of the League one by one, and she chooses who she wants to be, not what her past dictates. Her redemption arc is one of the best in the DCAU because it's earned. It's not about proving herself to others, it's about proving herself to herself. At first glance, she's just a tough, no-nonsense fighter, but when you really look at her journey, You see that she's a fearless warrior, a fearlessly independent woman, a character who made mistakes but chooses to grow, and a hero who balances strength and vulnerability. And that's why she's my girl crush. Who's yours? Drop your favorite female DCAU hero or villain in the comments below. Bye!